angels, it's Hailey Reese, and today I am super excited because we are coming back with yet another in my haunted doll series, so to speak. We've covered so many haunted dolls and all the creepy things they do on my channel before, so I'm really excited to dive into this one because it has to be one of the scariest looking dolls I have ever witnessed in my life, and to think about what it does along with how it looks sends goosebumps up my arms. If you guys noticed this at any point in the video, I went and had to take vials of blood today. I'm probably low in so many things again. I'm like iron deficient and I have B12 deficiency and basically everything else, so don't worry about that. I just tried to like rip it off before I started filming and it hurts so bad, and maybe I'm being the biggest baby, but I'm just leaving it on. I will deal with this later. So today we are going to talk about Ted the Haunted Clown Doll, and it's about as creepy as it sounds right there. I mean, I personally don't have the largest fear of clowns. I don't really like them. I mean, I'm not wanting to be in a room with a whole bunch of clowns, but my mom would actually drop dead of a heart attack if she was in a room with a whole bunch of clowns. So clowns in general can be a very creepy thing, which is super ironic because they're meant to make kids happy. So I've always found that really strange, how many people are frightened of clowns. But I definitely don't really like the look of clowns. And I have also never wanted a clown doll. I don't even think I've ever owned one. The closest I've owned is like a Raggedy Ann. So honestly, and look, that one was possessed too. Annabelle was a Raggedy Ann doll. So I mean, I just like to steer clear from the whole clowns being dolls thing. But when you hear Ted the Haunted Clown Doll, it sounds pretty freaky, but trust me you guys, it is so freaky. So first and foremost, let me start out by showing you a picture of Ted. This is Ted right here. He's definitely not the most attractive doll I've ever seen. He's definitely not something that I would see in a store and I would be like, yep, give me that thing. But I guess it's kind of like an antique doll and it's supposed to be like this collectible thing. So people ended up buying it, and it's been passed down for a couple of years now. When Ted came to the internet, it was because his owner, Ernest, claimed that he was super haunted and was trying to actually sell him because he no longer wanted this doll in his house, which I don't blame him. I don't want the doll in my house, but wait until you hear what started happening the minute he brought this doll in. So Ernest claims the minute he brought Ted into his house, strange things started to happen. He instantly started to hear small children laughing and giggling, and when the doll was upstairs and he would be downstairs, he would continuously hear walking around, which originally he kind of pinpointed to, okay, is this doll haunted? Is it a ghost walking around? I guess he didn't initially think that it was the doll itself walking around, but we will get there in a moment. So eventually those laughs and giggles turned to screaming and crying and blood curdling children's noises that he said just absolutely chilled him to the core. He would hear mixed in with a child's laughter, which by the way, sometimes I don't know if you guys ever, my goodness, can I speak? I don't know if you guys have ever noticed this in scary movies, but when they make a certain children's laugh, it can sound so creepy, and this is kind of like what Ernest described. So in the mixture of these children's giggles and laughter, he would hear children's crying and screaming and just these agonizing noises that he can't even put into words on how scary that was. So he started to hear these footsteps continuously, and along with these footsteps, he started to notice that the doll appeared to be somewhat moving, which sounds very familiar. You guys know I have this haunted dog that I would notice like moving place to place. So he says that that was what he kind of started to notice, but it was very subtle. So he would put the doll in one place and he would come upstairs after hearing these footsteps and realize that it appeared the doll had actually moved inches. So he started to kind of test the doll because he felt he was going absolutely insane. So he claims that he placed the doll particularly on one side of the room. He went downstairs, he heard the footsteps, the giggles, the crying, all of those creepy, sinister noises. He came upstairs and found that the clown doll had moved 3 feet across the room. He actually measured. So that was when he started to realize this doll is moving. But where it starts to get even creepier, you guys, and there's photo evidence of this, I will show you in just a moment. Trust me, it's chilling. He started to notice that along with these movements of the doll, the shoes on the clown doll started to wear, which would only happen if you were walking on the feet. So he started to realize that this clown doll might actually be the footsteps and actually be what's walking, rather than a spirit moving the doll, if that makes any sense. So I guess initially he had kind of thought, okay, maybe there's a child ghost attached to this that had died and really liked this clown doll, and maybe, just maybe, those children's voices and those footsteps that I hear are the child playing with the clown doll. But when the shoes on the clown doll started to wear and tear, as you see in this picture right here, he started to realize that no, something must actually be living within this clown doll in order to make it walk and wear down the soles of the shoes. So at this point in time, he decided to contact the previous owner of this doll who Ernest had purchased the clown doll from. And he asked him if anything strange happened while he owned the doll. Like I said, Ernest thought that maybe there was a child's ghost attached to it based off of the children's giggling and laughing and crying and voices. And he wondered if maybe something had happened with the previous owner. Now, I believe I read somewhere that the previous owner had actually purchased it at a vintage or antique sale, and that nobody had actually died when he owned the doll in his presence. But he replied to Ernest something completely shocking, and he said, in reply to Ernest asking if anything creepy or crazy or strange happened while he owned the doll, he replied, "It moves." And right then and there, he realized that he was not going insane, that this was not made up in his mind, and that this clown doll is haunted and it is walking on its own 2 feet. How chilling is that, you guys? Like, the entire concept of the doll that looks like this walking around with some sort of creepy children's laughter and giggles and voices and crying and screaming attached to it. I mean, the doll itself looks like kind of something out of a nightmare, and all of a sudden you add everything that Ernest and the previous owner have experienced and it becomes a terrifying nightmare. So, like, I don't even know what to say about it, because when I was researching this, I was scared for them, and I don't even own this doll. So I'm gonna actually read you guys what he was quoted saying, he being Ernest, and we are going to hear it straight from his own words. So Ernest had put this doll up on eBay because he was sick of this and he wanted to get rid of it. And Ernest writes, "Ever since I have this clown doll, weird things started to happen. I started to hear small children whispering and giggling, and I also heard footsteps. Eventually, I would hear children's cries. I would leave it in one place, and the next thing you know, it's somewhere else. I thought it was my imagination, so I intentionally left it in the corner of my room to monitor it, and a few days later, it moved 3 feet from where I had left it. I wanted to know more information about the doll. Maybe it was cherished by a small child that passed away and somehow lives through it. I contacted the guy whom I bought it from for more information, and he told me that he bought it at an antique shop sale 5 years ago. I asked him if anything weird happened to him when he had the doll, and he told me it moves. The reason why I did buy it in the first place is because I am also a doll sculptor, and this doll seemed to have a lot of character. Was I ever right? Right now I have the doll in a closet. I don't feel comfortable with it in my home, so I am offering it up for auction. Here it is. A signed statement of the occurrences will accompany the doll, and there is the pictures that we saw before, and that doll is looking creepy as ever. So at least by reading this, we kind of get an idea why in the first place Ernest thought to buy this doll. He was a he was a doll sculptor and thought it had character. It has something, buddy. It has something. Now, the interesting thing is that is kind of where the story ends dry. The eBay page has been taken down. I couldn't find whether or not the doll has been purchased. I don't know if somebody purchased it and is having experiences of their own. All I know is what I've researched on Ted the Haunted Clown Doll, and he sounds absolutely terrifying. Well, you guys, that is all that I have on Ted the Haunted Clown Doll. What do you guys think of him? Does he give you the eerie feeling that he gives me when I look at him? What do you think about the shoes actually wearing down? He claims that they got more and more worn down after time, after him moving and after hearing the footsteps. What do you guys make of that? Please, please, please make sure to let me know in the comments below, because I love reading your guys' theories. I don't know what to make of it. I think it's absolutely chilling and terrifying and so creepy. Like, haunted dolls in themselves are scary. Add in a haunted clown doll and that's something nightmares are made of. So don't forget to let me know in the comments below. And on that note, if you're new to my channel or you are just not yet subscribed, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. I post a ton of videos. I don't want you to miss when I upload. And please give this video a big thumbs up if you did enjoy it. It makes my heart super happy. It encourages me to keep on making these videos and I just love it. So please do that. Remember, my loves, do all things with kindness. And until next time, I love you.